Welcome everybody to another episode of Latifs Inspired. Right, on popular demand on my Facebook page, I asked you what would you like me to cook next? A Bengali inspired dal, an aloo gobi, or I think it was a mushroom masala. Most of you guys wanted an aloo gobi and a Bengali inspired dal. So I thought, you know what, I actually fancy an aloo gobi with paratha. Now this is one of my personal favorites. Just come and have a look at this. This is cooked with proper ghee, the cauliflowers, the potatoes, and I'm using my favorite Maris Piper potatoes. It's just breaking away. The cauliflower is holding its shape, and the tomatoes are added at the last 5 minutes. So make sure you watch till the end to see the techniques of dum cooking. So now let's show you how to make this amazing aloo gobi, a British Indian restaurant classic. Let's go. So here are the amazing ingredients. We're going to be using obviously fresh ginger and garlic for amazing flavor, onions, I've got some green chilies ready. Now for garam masala, we're just going to use some Bangladeshi Tez Pata, which is the bay leaf, spices, and obviously fresh cauliflower. Fresh is better than frozen. And my favorite potato, Maris Piper potato, perfect for roast, chips and mash. I love that texture and I love the flavor. So we're going to be using a couple of these and maybe half of this cauliflower. So let's start cooking. Maris Piper are my favorite potatoes. So let's use 2 potatoes. So just got some cold water. I'm going to cut up the potatoes and put it in cold water so the starch, it releases its starch and it doesn't discolor. If you cut it into small pieces, now it cooks faster. Normally the cooking time is about 20 minutes for potatoes. Sometimes it can be 25 minutes if you make it into big pieces. So I'm just sort of 1 inch cubed. That's your potatoes. Now for the cauliflower, as I said, fresh is better than frozen. So I'm going to try to just use half of it. Beautiful. Voila, there you go. There you go. So get the florets out. So we're just going to wash this and just leave it in soaking water. So there you go. I'm going to just leave this in water while I prepare the rest of the vegetables. I'm using 4 cloves of garlic. These are pretty big. I enjoy a garlic. So this is about, it's going to be about 1.5 tablespoons. A ginger, just 1 inch cube is perfectly fine. So let's just chop these up. Now the garlic. So that's the ginger and garlic ready. The onions, so 2 onions. So let's turn on the gas, Bismillah. So let's start cooking. I'm going to use my favorite ghee, which is the Khanam ghee. This is one of the best ghees. It's nice and aromatic and it's very flavorful. Proper stuff this. So we're going to need about 4 tablespoons. Right, we're going to be using Bangladeshi spice, which is the Panch Phoron. This is like 5 seeds, the Nigella seeds, the Cumin seeds, mustard seeds. This is the famous Bangladeshi spice. So a good teaspoon, guys. I'm using Tez Pata, so Bangladeshi, Bayleaf. Fantastic. So now the ginger, the garlic and the onions go in. Bismillah. I'm just going to add some salt. So I'm going to need about 1.5 teaspoons. Salt to taste, you can add more or less. This is my famous mum's wooden spoon. It's my favourite spoon to cook with. There you go. Now this process takes about 8 to 10 minutes to soften up the onions and takes the rawness of the ginger and garlic away. And now I've added the salt, that's going to help all the vegetables release its natural juices. So 8 to 10 minutes, and to prevent it from burning, if it goes too red, you can drizzle a bit of water, which we may do a bit later on. So keep an eye on it every 2-3 minutes, and if you need to add water, add some water, but we're going to come back to it in about 8 to 10 minutes. So it's been cooking for a couple of minutes, and it was on a high gas. I just reduced it to a medium-low gas. So if you put a lid on, it'll create steam and soften up all the onions a bit quicker. So again, 8 to 10 minutes, guys. We're going to have to be a bit patient. It's been about 6-7 minutes, guys. What I'm going to do is just add a drizzle of water. This will prevent it from burning and becoming bitter. You want the ginger and garlic to have lots of flavour. So the water's going to evaporate, and then we're going to go to the next process. So put the lid back on, cooking it on a medium gas, and we'll come back to it in about 3 to 4 minutes. So amazing home chefs. Now it's been a good 10 to 11 minutes cooking time of the onions. Let's have a look. Beautiful, there you go. So the water has almost evaporated. There you go. Can you see that? That's the ghee. Fantastic. And now reduce the gas to a very low, and we're going to add the amazing spices. Firstly, I just love the taste of Kasoori Methi. So good teaspoon of Kasoori Methi. Now the amazing spices. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric powder. And we want it to be nice and spicy. So if you like it mild, just add a touch. If you like it medium, just add about 1.5 teaspoon. I'm going to add 2 teaspoon. I like it medium with a bit of kick. So that was 2 teaspoons of Kashmiri Chilli powder. Kashmiri Chilli powder is a little bit milder than normal chili powder, but it's extremely colourful and flavourful. Now this is ground coriander powder, 1 teaspoon. And I'm going to add cumin powder, which is 1/2 teaspoon. Now this is curry powder. You can see on my video selection, my dad's curry powder. You can mix this or you can just get store-bought curry powder. We're going to use 2 teaspoons. This brings out an enormous flavour and enormous colour. Fantastic. Now lastly, I'm going to add a bit of tomato puree. 1 tablespoon of tomato puree. This just helps marry up all the flavours together. Give this all a nice mix. Now I always say spices can get damp. We don't know how long it's been in those packets. So when you hit it in the oil for about 10, 20, 30 seconds, it just comes alive. But you don't want it to burn. If it burns, it just becomes bitter. So there you go, lovely. And now just add a drizzle of water. About 1/2 cup really. Put the heat to a medium and let the spices booner up. And when you see the ghee separate from the water, sort of floats, that when it has the separation, that's when you know the spices have boonered up. There you go, look at that. That amazing colour from the Kashmiri chilies. The oil has come to the top. And now, look at this. I've sieved up the water, so potatoes and the cauliflowers, they're looking wonderful. So bismillah. Now the vegetarians say I don't do many vegetable dishes. This is one of my favorites, which is the Aloo Gobi. And when it's cooked with ghee, in the ghee, it's extremely flavorful. So look at that, look at the colors. You can have this as a main curry. It's not a side dish. So there you go. Give it all a mix. Let's crank up the heat to a medium high. And I'm just bouillering the vegetables. And then we're going to go to the next process. Put the lid on and come back to it in a few minutes. Guys, let's reduce the gas to a low. Right, I'm going to throw in some green chilies. So there you go. I'm keeping it whole because whoever doesn't like it, they can take it, but I just want the fragrance and the flavour to come out in this amazing Aloo Gobi dish. So now we're adding some water. This is 3 cups of water. I want a nice little sauce. So now crank up the heat to the highest. Give this a nice mix. Now the potatoes can take a good 20 minutes to cook. The cauliflowers take a little less time. However, we want everything to be cooked properly, so put the lid on. So it's on a high simmer, as you can see. So the curry's been cooking for the last 10 minutes. Let's have a look. Fantastic, the natural gravy becoming nice and thick. Cauliflower, potato, a proper Aloo Gobi. Let's put the lid back on. Amazing home chefs. Since I've added the potato and cauliflower, this has been cooking for 20 minutes. Yep, the potato and cauliflower's cooked now. So what I'm going to do for the last 5 minutes, I'm going to reduce the gas to the lowest, just like this. And now we're going to add a sprinkle of magic. So this is my homemade garam masala, just a bit of fragrance. I only use the Panch Phoron. I didn't use any other garam masala. Normally I use cinnamon, cardamom, etc. So just a couple of pinches really of garam masala. There you go. I did add Kasoori Methi at the beginning, but I just love the umami-ness of this. Slight little hint of bitter. So another about a teaspoon. Good pinch that was. Right, I just want some tomato wedges, just for a bit of colour and for the display. So 1 tomato, just 6 wedges. Let's whack this in. We don't have fresh coriander, so I'm having to use my mum's frozen. But look at that. Beautiful. Right, for the Aloo Gobi, last minute, I just love to drizzle a bit of ghee, which gives it an enormous flavour. Now, I like the dum cooking, so on the lowest heat, for 5 minutes, just let it relax and the oil is going to separate and it's going to be a wonderful curry. Guys, Asian households, if we're not making paratha, then we've got the ready-made ones. So these are pretty good actually, but I'm not a personal fan. I like to make fresh ones, but the family do enjoy one of these parathas. So we're going to have some parathas with the Aloo Gobi. Guys, when you see slight little bubbles, so it's about a minute or 2, now flip it. Beautiful, look at that. The oil is separating and this is looking wonderful. Just a couple more minutes, guys. This is pretty good. It's puffed up. It had a little rip here, so I was worried if it's not going to puff up. If it puffs up, then it's a perfect paratha. Wonderful. So this is going to be crispy on the outside and sort of soft on the inside. That is ready. Amazing home chefs. The curry's cooked. I've turned the gas off. Let's have a look. Wow. Can you see the separation of the ghee? This is healthy fats, guys. This is a proper healthy dish. Please don't be scared of using ghee. Ghee is more healthier than vegetable oils and so on. Now let's plate this up. Wow. Potatoes breaking away, beautiful. Nice gravy. Amazing home chefs. This aloo gobi, as I said, is one of my favorite dishes. Paired with the paratha is absolutely gorgeous. Now, let me show you this. Look at the potato. That's just breaking away. Wow, this is still hot. So let's give this a taste. First the potato, Bismillah. Wonderful. It's got a lovely spice to it because I've added plenty of Kashmiri Chilli powder. That's why it's got that red, amazing red color. And if you like it sort of medium with a bit of spice, I added the green chilies as well. Now look at the cauliflower. This is soft enough, but it's not breaking away. This is just right. Now let's give the cauliflower a taste. Wonderful. Cooked to perfection. It's not hard with that al dente sort of. It's still got held its shape, and the flavor that has come, all that spices have penetrated into the cauliflower. This is amazing, guys. Now, do you know what? Let's have a bit of that paratha. Flaky, crispy paratha. Let's get a bit of that ghee. Oh man, look at that. Fantastic. That gravy is phenomenal. Guys, if you follow my recipe, follow my tips and tricks, you're going to have the most amazing curries at home. This aloo gobi is going to be better than any restaurant and takeaway. Cooked in one pot, not a lot of cleaning up to do, and you're going to enjoy the best curry ever. So make sure you like, share and subscribe. See you soon for the next one.